Hi, my name is John Point, and today I would like to talk about Tom Brady and why I think he is the best quarterback in all of pro sports. To give you a little backstory about Tom Brady, he started playing football when he was in the ninth grade for his high school JV team. He was on a football team that was 0-8, and his coach decided that he wasn't good enough to play. He did, however, decide to play his next year after thinking about quitting, and eventually his junior year he became the starting quarterback. And he had college offers from a few schools. He wasn't a big blue chip recruit coming out of high school, but Michigan gave him an offer, and after sitting on the bench but for the first 2 years of his college career, he eventually became the starter his junior and senior year and led Michigan to a bowl championship in the Orange Bowl in his last game playing. So going into the NFL draft after his senior year, Tom Brady was, again, not a very highly touted pick. As you can see from the picture, he was pretty much skin and bones. He didn't have much high promise from what the analysts thought of him, and because of that reason, he went in the 6th round of the draft with the 199th pick, almost to the point where he wasn't going to get drafted. So his first year in the NFL, he sat the bench. He was actually the 4th-string quarterback on the team. He eventually worked his way up to be 2nd string behind All-Pro quarterback Drew Bledsoe, and he sat behind him for his first year and a half until Drew Bledsoe got hurt halfway through his first season. So when Tom Brady got in, he ended up winning 11 of his first 14 games, including 6 games to end the regular season in 2001. He led the Patriots to a Super Bowl championship in his first season playing, and he ended up winning the MVP of that Super Bowl, and he credited it to his past to help him get there. So Tom Brady, after his first year, established himself as one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL and kept that trend going forward. He ended up winning championships in 2003 and 2004 and was the Super Bowl quarterback of the, or Super Bowl MVP of the 2004 season. Eventually, over the next course of his career, in 2007, he led the Patriots to a perfect undefeated 16-0 season. He had 50 touchdown passes that year and was voted the league's unanimous MVP. He also was named Associated Press Male Athlete of the Year, and he'd been the first football player to do that since Joe Montana did it in 1990. However, Tom Brady hadn't won a Super Bowl championship since 2004, and in the 2014 season, he was hungry to get that championship back. And after he had led the Patriots to a 12-4 season, he due to an interception late in the game of Malcolm Butler, he led them to the championship and to another MVP. So Tom Brady, I think, is the greatest quarterback that's ever played. He's gone through a lot of trouble, and he's persevered to be the person that he is today. And I think that when the history books are written, he'll go down as the greatest to ever play the game, and that's how I feel in this today. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Sean, you're next. Did I have you up to critique next?
Okay.
Did it freeze?
Yeah, it's just going to continue to freeze.
Okay, so we're gonna have to then manually download. I don't know if.
I think you might have overloaded like your account.
Oh yeah, blame it on the professor.
No, I mean I'm just saying like after all the presentations that you have to download. It's okay. So it's definitely different.
You should switch to Firefox.
Actually, I think that is on here. Or find it, I guess, but.
Whenever you're set.
Hello, my name's Sean McKellar, and for my Pechakusha, I wanted to talk about a device that's pretty underrated in my mind in the electronics world, and no one really talks about because it's overshadowed by the Colossus Apple, which is currently one of the biggest companies. And that product is the Kindle. The Kindle is a revolutionary device in that its purpose is very specific to books. It was able to single-handedly cloud out Borders, and Barnes & Noble is still slowly dying, but they got around to even just joining with Amazon because of it. The Kindle is very cheap in price, and because of the way the books are sold, as you can see above, a hardcover is $16.56, but a Kindle purchase is $12.14. That leaves $4.42 in difference between buying a hardcover and buying a book. That leaves 14 books, and you've already paid off the Kindle. The picture you see behind you is what everyone imagines in their home library, but it's becoming less and less common because of the dying of Borders and Barnes & Noble. For that reason, you can change all of that into the size of a 6-inch tablet. And for me, I know I'm the only freshman, but I know I can't fit that library in a Del Plain dorm. So the Kindle is definitely the best way for me to go in that aspect. In addition to that, the Amazon library is also the biggest now. It still is clouding out Barnes & Noble, and they're still dying. When comparing it to the iPad, the Kindle is 6 inches, while the iPad is 10. I think the iPad Pro is 12. They have two different purposes, but the 6-inch is only $60 compared to the $200 and $300 copies of the iPad, and that's just not feasible for us as students. And Amazon even caters to students because of their $50 a year for Amazon Prime, which lets us get all of these books and lets us do the two-a-day shipping and everything along the lines of Amazon. I know I don't have a car, so Amazon's how I get everything, and a Kindle aligns with that. In addition to that, from the business side, Apple just has been losing for 8 days because of their loss of revenue, and Amazon is still growing, as you see here. Their revenue rose 23%, and it's a smart investment all the way around to invest in Amazon as a company, Kindle for reading, and yeah, that's basically it. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
Okay, Pash. Up next, Justin reviewing. With the reviewers, to make sure you write the name of the presenter on top, just so we can distribute these at the end, please. Thank you.
Okay, hi. My name is Paz. I'm here to talk to you about the game of soccer. I choose to present about the soccer because it's popular and it is playing everywhere these days. So soccer, it is being one of the famous games in the European. So there is lots of league you can follow around the world, such as La Liga, EPL, and in the USA there is MLS, which is much popular. Soccer, it is a game played between two teams, which involves 11 players on each side. It cannot be played by hands or arms because those things can be only done by the goalkeepers. The main objective of this game is to make a goal with your hand or by the heads. there is a lot of formation you can play this game by. You can make a formation of 4-3-3, 5-3-2. You can have a goalie and a 4 defense and a 3 midfields and a 3 forward, which include the striker. So this formation had been used from years ago, and this formation still have been used. There is a rules in this game. So when you play games, you need to have a jersey, shorts, and tops. So you also need to have the boards, shin guards, and socks, those things. So you are supposed to use the shin guards because those things will protect you from getting the injuries. So this thing also have been used from a long time. So soccer, it is the popular games everyone can play, which have no any borders. So soccer is actually popular in the European country rather than USA. In a European country, people used to call it as a football, not a soccer. So these things is also important. So why do we need to play soccer? What is important to play soccer? And why do we need to play soccer every day? Because it helps to improve your fitness. Every day you play soccer, it helps to lose your fat. Then you can build your muscles. As you run, you're gonna get lots of exercise each day. And in the other hand, the salary itself is compelling. So if you're good enough to play soccer, and if you play from some leagues, then you are strong enough to make some kind of good living. And even if you are more, even if you have more skills, then you're gonna make a lot of money each year. So if you are capable of playing a soccer, then you can also involve in a group, like in a social, when you play soccer. Because when you play soccer, you're gonna get into the team. You're gonna build your network, and there is a lot of things you can do. Like you can even improve your team leader skills and those things. Passion, there is passion everywhere in the soccer. So the people used to come from a different country to see our soccer because they are die-hard friends and even more crazy on soccer. So soccer is seen and played by everyone and anyone around the world. So it can also be played by anywhere and by everyone. Thank you.
Okay, Marissa, next. Brooke, reviewing.
Today I want to tell you guys about Long Beach Island. So with summer coming up, I thought it would be a great idea to talk about one of my favorite vacation spots. And Long Beach Island is an island off the southern coast of New Jersey. It's about 19 miles long, and so it's pretty small. And if I'm not at work, this is where I spend all my summer with my friends and family, and a lot of other people come here. It's a very popular location if you live in New Jersey, the surrounding area. So when you visit LBI, one of the things you could obviously do is go to the beach. And it's nice because most of the beaches on the island are private and not open to the public, so it's always not as crowded, and you don't have to worry about not finding a spot to sit or people being on top of you. And the beach is always so much fun because you can do so much stuff. You can lay out and tan, you could swim, surf, you can go fishing if you want, you can build a sandcastle. There's so much to do at the beach. And it's nice because there's cafes at the end of each beach, so you can grab lunch overlooking the beautiful view of the ocean, and you don't have to leave or anything to get anywhere. One thing that's unique about LBI is one side of the island is surrounded by the beach, and the other side is surrounded by the bay. So if you wanted a more quiet day, you can go to the bay because there's normally less people, the water isn't crashing, so it's calmer, and it's much more relaxing. So if you wanted to do that, you can always do that too. It's like right there, since it's so small of an island. So one thing that's where everyone goes is Bay Village. It's in Beach Haven, and here there's a bunch of restaurants and shops so you can go shopping at. And throughout the day, there's always so many people here doing all different things, activities, and there's actually a weird number of bakeries, and they have really good desserts if you ever went. So in Bay Village, there's Fantasy Island, where there's an arcade, there's rides, there's water slides, there's a mini golf course, there's so many activities, you never get bored. And if you wanted to spend your whole day at Bay Village, you can go to the water slides and then go out to eat and then go to the mini golf course, do whatever you want. You don't have to leave and go home. My favorite thing to do is to go to see the sunset at the lighthouse. And every year, me and my friends come up here at least once over our vacation, and we go and watch the sunset. And it's really pretty, all the scenery. There's a bunch of gardens walking up the lighthouse, so it's really nice and like relaxing. And there's like hundreds of stairs if you wanted to walk up. So the best part about summer to me is ice cream. I have a really big sweet tooth, and a popular location is Skipper Dipper. It's been on the island since 1978, and there's over 20 flavors, and everything's homemade. It's so popular that no matter what time of day you go, there's going to be a line out the door because everyone just comes here to get ice cream. So if you guys still don't know what you're going to do with your summers, you should definitely consider coming to Long Beach Island. There's so much to do. You can either go to the lighthouse, you can go to Bay Village, you can go to the beach. You can make memories anywhere with your friends and family, and it's just really relaxing. So thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, Charmin. Next, Ruby reviewing.
I can guarantee that all the females in this room have been in an atmosphere where they were outnumbered by guys. Maybe a 1-to-4 or a 1-to-5 ratio. Now this can be slightly uncomfortable, especially if we feel that we're constantly being judged or that we don't belong. Now this is likely to happen in one of two scenarios. Where we're at a house party and we're surrounded by a bunch of single guys, or the more likely scenario where we're working at a technology firm or taking a tech class. Hi, my name is Shrine Rahman, and I don't think this is working, sorry. Transition isn't on. Okay, what's that?
Yeah, it looked.
On the right? No.
Yeah, there you go. You have that
Oh,
timer.
okay. Oops.
What?
I think that's
That's
the
a
right
20
one.
minutes, yeah.
The whole class is like, no!
Like after not invested.
Get rid of on basketball. It does both.
Is that right?
Go to transitions, right, come to it. Now check the apply to all box there on your timer. That should have your timer on.
Hi, my name is Shrine Rahman, and fortunately, I'm an IMT major at the iSchool, and 50% of my peers are female. Now, that's not necessarily the case in most tech colleges or in technology industries. I don't think this is working.
You hadn't been 20 seconds yet.
It has it? Oh, okay.
We're at 18.
Oh. Oh, can I just test it really quickly? Is it?
Just don't touch it.
Because I just don't think it's working at 20 seconds. Yeah, it's, okay. Okay, so technology jobs are super in demand right now, and there's a statistic that says in 2024, there will be 1.1 million in demand in the technology field. only 41% of them will be met. Now, this is a huge issue, and tech companies and colleges need to take that into consideration and acknowledge that there's a racial diversity and a gender diversity problem. A change in the way the industry needs to promote diversity can help fill this demand. And there's a lot of research out there that states that companies that are more gender diverse and racially diverse have a lot more sales revenue, more profitability, more market share, as well as more customer base. Now, I can guarantee you, women comprise half of the United States professional workforce, which is over 50%, and as well as half of the world's population. Yet we play a very tiny role in creating the latest, most innovative technology. And this is the lack of women in computing and leadership roles represents a failure to capitalize on the most diverse perspectives. So one of the reasons why women are not in STEM is because of the stigma that it's a boys' club. And we can agree that's not true because there's so many women pioneers that are in the STEM fields. Now, we have to take things a step further and provide exposure and support for women to pursue college degrees in these fields. There's many statistics that prove that girls who code can do the same, have the same opportunities in women and men in tech. So 74% of middle schoolers express interest in STEM, but only 4% of them pursue those degrees when going to college, and 55% of students taking AP classes are women, but only 12% of those girls take the computer science AP classes. 57% of bachelor's degrees are pursued by women, and only 12% of those degrees are in computer science for females. There are a lot of women. It's not moving, is it?
No.
Why don't you just
I'm
manually.
Sorry, can I just go to last, because I can't really. It's just like a technical thing, and I made sure that. Can I just do that at the end of the class?
Okay.
Sorry.
Ashley presenting Ryan critiquing. Yes, they're Brooke has them in the back.
Can you share one more with Ryan of those sheets?
Thank you. I'm sorry? Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ashley Schumann, and today I'm going to tell you guys why and how you should prep for an interview. So first, you're going to want to research the company. There are a lot of websites online that you can utilize, such as Vault and Career Search, that will give you a full overview of the company that you're trying to research. Also, you can go to the website and highlight some key aspects that will also help you out during your interview. So you're going to want to download the job requirement also. So look that up, download it, print it out, compare it with your resume, and see if the key components from the job requirement are going to also be on your resume. If you highlight these and add in these key components, then it will really make your resume stand out to either the recruiter or the person that's interviewing you. Most likely, the recruiter will give you the name of your interviewer ahead of time, so you should go on LinkedIn and look up that person who's going to be interviewing you. He or she should have a full profile. You can find out their full position and see if maybe you have some similar interests. Maybe you went to the same college or university, or maybe they're from the same area as you, which will also give you a leg up in the interview. You should also definitely prepare questions. So one example of this is you can tell some past experiences that you've had at your other jobs and ask if it will be the same or different at this job, and hopefully that will make you look a little bit more intrigued at the position, and it will give you another leg up. So Also, you should definitely find a quiet space on campus, which can often be hard to find, so I recommend that you go to the library, go to a quiet, independent study location, and make sure that the door is locked, no one's going to come, intrude, and distract you or the interviewer, and this will just make it an even better experience if you're having a FaceTime or phone screen call. So you should also definitely have a notepad on hand. This will make it look like you're extremely interested, jotting down notes, and the interviewer should be pleased to see that you actually care about what he or she is saying. This will also help you in the long run because you can compare your notes from one interview with another interview and see if you get multiple offers, you can pick which one you like better. You should definitely download your most up-to-date resume and have it on hand during the interview so that if they ask you what exactly you did at a position a few years ago, you don't remember, you can just look down and see that you have it right in front of you. One great thing that Syracuse University also offers is a mock interview preparation. So if you go to Career Services or you call them, you can definitely schedule a mock interview, which will help you out in the long run. You can prepare some questions for them to ask you, get all dressed up, and you can also do this with a family member or friend, whichever you prefer. So lastly, you should definitely follow up at the end of the interview, ask if they have any questions for you. This will make them get to know you a little bit better, and as an example, you could also email the recruiter, say that you thank them for their time and that you're interested in hearing back. And I hope that this will help you in the long run with your future interviews. Thank you.
Okay, Greg, next, and is Connor back? Oh, okay. You're sorry. I thought you were. Thank you. Yeah. You're. You know what I mean. Reviewing next.
Ready? Hi, I'm Greg Steiger, and I'm going to talk to you today about Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones premiered its first episode April 17, 2011, to an initial viewing of approximately 2.2 million views. This past season, season 6, had approximately 8 million views, and the most the show has ever had was in the season 5 finale with 8.11 million views. You can watch the show on HBO, HBO Go, or HBO Now, their streaming services. The streaming services have every single episode from every single season. All 6 seasons are featured. And if you don't have your TV provider here, like I don't at school, you can watch all new episodes the second they air on their streaming services. The show is based on a series called The Song of Fire and Ice, written by this guy, George R.R. Martin. The books there are currently 5 books, and the show has actually surpassed and now diverted away from the books. So what might happen next is actually anybody's guess. The show is expected to end before he writes the final 7th book. The show takes place on the 2 continents of Westeros and Essos. It features many different plot lines of all the wide range of characters interweaving in some way, and the many different houses of these characters all fight for power, but they fight more than simply each other because this is a fictional realm. The show is filmed across more than 40 different locations all around the world. In order to capture the many different places that the characters go, they have to film they've gone to Croatia, Northern Ireland, Morocco, Spain, all these different places to capture if a character's in a desert or maybe a frozen tundra or a city. And one of the best aspects of this show is the character development. The show has a real knack for truly investing viewers in their characters. People find themselves feeling from pure hatred to love or admiration for these characters, and it's truly amazing how much these characters can really change throughout the show. Another thing that Game of Thrones is famous for is their drastic plot twists and unpredictability. Even the most beloved character on the show is not safe. It's famous that no character on the show is safe, and you never know what might happen to any single one of the characters. They could be dropped off at any time or go through a drastic change. The show has won many awards, This past year in 2015, the show actually took home 12 Grammys, including Best Outstanding Drama, Best Supporting Actor, Best Writing, and Best Direction, setting a new record for awards in a single year. The previous was 9 by a show called The West Wing in 2000. And so, if you've never seen Game of Thrones, I really recommend that you start it. I started it when there were only 2 seasons out, and each season has 10 episodes, and each episode's about an hour. I found myself finishing in a little under a week because that's just how good the show actually is. So thank you, and I hope that after this presentation you get out there and start.
Okay, one more, then we'll take a break. Arnold, presenting is. Are you able to review? Okay. Review? Right now.
Good afternoon. I'm Arnold Tabaku, and I'm here to give you guys a recap on the first round of the NBA playoffs. It's supposed to go, and then it starts. So the first series I'm going to go over is the first one in the Eastern Conference. This pit the Detroit Pistons against the #1 seed Cleveland Cavaliers. In this series, LeBron James had a phenomenal series, and his wingman, Kyrie Irving, ended up leading the Cavaliers to a 4-0 victory against the Pistons. Although the Pistons got swept, this was considered one of the most competitive series in NBA playoff history. Moving on to the next series is the Toronto Raptors, the only team in the NBA from Canada, against the Indiana Pacers. The Indiana Pacers put up a great fight against the #2 seed Raptors, but at the end of the day, the Pacers were overmatched. This series, however, went 7 games, which is the max it can go, but at the end of the day, the Pacers ended up winning in 7. The next series is the Atlanta Hawks against the Boston Celtics. The Celtics were a team that weren't supposed to make the playoffs and shocked everyone by being the #6 seed in the Eastern Conference. After it was said and done, though, unfortunately, the Celtics got ousted by the Hawks 4-2, and the Hawks move on to play the Cavs. The next series is the Miami Heat against the Charlotte Hornets. This was a bit of a shocker. The Heat started off winning the first 2 games, then the Hornets won the next 3. Then the Heat reeled off the last 2 games to end up winning the series 4-3, led by Dwayne Wade and Goran Dragic in the last game. And then moving over to the Western Conference, we have the heavyweight title favorites, the Golden State Warriors, who are the complete and utter favorite to win the championship this year, other than the Spurs, against the Houston Rockets, which are just a disgruntled bunch. James Harden played very hard, but after a Game 2 injury to Stephen Curry, people thought the Rockets had a chance, but they did not, and ended up losing 4-1. The next series is the Memphis Grizzlies, who were missing their 2 best players, against the San Antonio Spurs, who are another title favorite to win the championship this year. The Grizzlies were completely overmatched in this series and ended up getting swept in 4 games, 4-0, and were completely outmatched by the Spurs when it was all said and done. And then moving on to the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Dallas Mavericks. The Thunder, with the combo of Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant, were one of the teams that people were looking out for, not as a favorite to win the title, but a team that could potentially make some upsets. At the end of it all, the Mavericks were too old and too slow to keep up with the young Thunder and ended up losing 4-1. Now the last series in the first round of the playoffs was the Los Angeles Clippers against the Portland Trail Blazers. Everyone counted the Blazers out after going down 0-2, but after an injury to Blake Griffin and Chris Paul, the Blazers ended up winning the series by reeling off 4 straight to end the series. And then to cap it off, this is a recap of the next round of the NBA playoffs. We have the Golden State Warriors against the Portland Trail Blazers, the San Antonio Spurs against the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Cleveland Cavaliers against the Atlanta Hawks, and last but not least, the Toronto Raptors against the Miami Heat.